Arena! Hey, Chris in the house with another Raid Shadow Legends video. And today, guys, we are going to try a champion that's been there for a long time. Since before I started to play this game, he was already here. And now, I think he has a special placement on this meta that we're living, the speed meta. And we're talking about a champion that was in and out of the meta many times. He was the top core of the meta once. He had times that he was totally out of the meta. And now I think he is one of the most annoying champions in the meta right now. He steals one of the craziest champions that make you had to have some preparations to face it. And we are talking about the Frost Lord. The one that brings shivers down your spine. He's short on hate, but he's gigantic in annoyingness. We are talking about Tormin the Cold. This dwarf here, it was the fusion that happened before I started playing this game, almost 5 years ago. He had a lot of twists in his kit, in his mechanics, how it works. And he steals a massive champion that when played well can do amazing things to your team. Let's first take a look at his kit. A1. Fire. Attack all enemies, has 50% of chance when booked, 25% of chance of placing freeze debuff for 1 turn. AoE, damage dealing skill that can put freeze. Instantly activate this skill whenever an enemy under both a freeze and a HP burn debuff takes damage from the HP burn debuff. This is really cool, because can make you have a feeling that you were like a Marius. Keep doing this AoE A1 with annoying CC included in it. For an A1, I think is a really solid A1. I would say it's a 7 out of 10 A1. A2. Iceberg Crush. Removes all buffs from a target enemy, then attacks the target 2 times. Steal all buffs instead if the target is under freeze debuff. Will ignore defense if the target is on both freeze and HP burn debuff. 4 turns cooldown when booked, 3 turns cooldown. Good skill. Has decent amount of damage in his kit. And can remove the debuffs before playing. So it's a good skill. I would say it's a 6 out of 10. A3. Blizzard Rage. Attack all enemies, places block buffs, debuff, and 100% reduction debuff for 2 turns on enemy under freeze debuff. Has 60% of chance of placing provoke for 1 turn on enemies not under freeze debuff. Decrease the cooldown of a random skill of each ally by 1 turn for every enemy attack under both freeze and HP burn debuff. Very solid skill. Good amount of damage. AoE, a lot of effects. And the debuff's chances are close to 100%, 80% when fully booked. So it's a very solid skill. Very solid skill. The passive. This is the best part of this champion. This passive, it's huge. 8 turns when booked. You're gonna get 6 turns and more 10% of chance. Has 20% of chance when booked 30 of placing a freeze debuff on the enemy each time they receive a buff or have their turn meter filled. Each time, the 20% chances applies up to twice per enemy turn. Once for buffs, once for turn meter. In cases where an enemy receives multiple of these effects at the same time. Okay. Really interesting. Really powerful. Does not work with effects from artifact sets. Turn meter filling, effects from masteries, healing, or those buffs or effects that make place at the start of the round. For example, if you start the round and you proc the supersonic turn midfield, these won't proc this passive here. But if it is a champion passive, it will proc. So really interesting. And there is an active part of it. Revive this champion to 100% HP when killed and places a freeze debuff on this champion for 1 turn. So if he's killed, he revives frozen. Defense. Increase ally defense aura in all battles by 33%. All his kit is defense based. And this is Tormin the code. A nuker and crowd control. Legendary champion Void Affinity from the Dwarfs faction. And how we are going to build it. First, let's go to the master. We have many ways of building this champion because of the amount of possibilities on how to build him. But the way we're going to use it, we're going to use him as a hybrid crowd control and nuker. There is the possibility of using him also as fully crowd control. If you use him as fully crowd control, you can go with the support tree here to get the extra accuracy, like pinpoint accuracy, charged focus, swamp smiter, Lord of Steel, cycle of magic, and maybe master hexa. Do not pick eagle eye, because there is a mastery that's really important for this champion and makes the total difference. So let's go grab it first. We're going to build him as a nuker, but instead of starting with the offense tree as we do for every nuker, we're going to start with the defense tree. We're going for Thought Skin. We're going to Blast Proof. We are going for Resurgent. For Harvest Despair. We really want Retribution and Deterrence, because these counterattacks can totally freeze the enemy team. And we want Fearsome Presence. This is the most important masteries for this champion, whatever build you use on him. Because increase the chance of placing stun, sleep, freeze debuff, and provoke debuff from skill and artifacts by 5%. This is the most important part of his kit, because when we talk about sets and how to build it, we're gonna see that his main function is to land the debuffs on the enemy. Even if he is a nuker, he wants to land the debuffs on the enemies. So this is extremely impactful on how you're going to build him. Then we're going to offense tree, because we want to build him as a nuker. So we're going to Daedal Precision, in Strike. I'm going here for Shield Breaker, Single Out, Bring It Down, and Methodical. I'm also going Reeling of Death and Opportunist, because this is also really important to him. Increase the damage inflicted to the targets with Stun, Sleep, Fear, Freeze debuffs by 12%. So, Fearsome Presence and Opportunist are really good for this champion. And now, let's talk about sets. There are many ways of building this champion, because His kit is so good, with so vast amount of possibilities on building him in a good way, that you can try whatever fits you better. I'm gonna suggest you what and rank what I think are the best options for him. So I think the best option for him is 4 pieces of stone skin, 4 pieces of lethal or savage as first and best option for set. Second best option, it's 4 pieces of pinpoint or 5 pieces of pinpoint and stone skin or savage. Third best option for him, it's 4 pieces or 5 pieces of pinpoint and savage or lethal set. The fourth best option for him, it's the CC sets. And here we got some options. The first option, and I think is the best one, is the stun set. Because it has 12% of chance of placing
18, you dumbass.
This champion has a lot of AoEs on his kit. So you're going to have the chance of 18% with the fearsome presence, 23% of stunning the enemy, and you're also gonna have the chance of the
Now you know, now you know.
his own kit, and also the chance of the provoke from his own kit. So all these champion skills are going to have a chance of landing a debuff on the enemy, and a really strong and incapacitating debuff that can bring you to the victory by annoying your opponent and taking their turns away. So I think that's the fourth best option of building him. In case you build him in stun set, you can also use the masteries we are using here for a mixed way of going stun set and something else. If you're going to stun set, you can go stun set plus stone skin or stun set plus pinpoint. 4 pieces of stone skin or 4 pieces or 5 pieces of pinpoint. Really good. Really, really good. The other very impactful set, CC set that you can use, is the provoke set here. You have 30% of chance. It's a lot of chance. And with fearsome present, 35% of chance of putting provoke on the enemy. So you can be very annoying by provoking and freezing the enemy the entire fight. With the amount of counterattacks and things you put on your champion, these can be extremely powerful. The provoke set is the fifth best option, and as the stun set you can use together with stone skin 4 pieces or pinpoint 4 or 5 pieces. And the other possibility that is good on him as a CC set is the Daisy set here. It has 25% of chance of placing sleep. This is the worst one between the crowd control sets, because sleepy is very easy to remove anything that touches the champion, and there is a lot of HP burn, poisons, passives that splash a little bit 1 damage. It's enough to wake up a champion and take away the sleep debuff. So I wouldn't suggest go to this set unless it's your only option. I prefer a lot more the stun set and the provoke set. And there is also a last option that I suggest as a machine gun of crowd control. It's the retaliation set. You can use maybe one of these sets, stun, provoke, or Daisy, and you can also put 2 pieces of retaliation and maybe 3 pieces of revenge accessories. Because you get 5% chance to counterattack when hitted for each piece of the revenge accessories. So, with these counterattack pieces and the revenge accessories, you can splash your A1. And if you have a crowd control set and your own skill already got a crowd control effect on it, you might have a lot of chances of proccing the crowd control effects of the kit of this champion and annoy your opponent by insane amounts. There is also a 7th way of building him that can be interesting, that it's on full damage mode using Slayer set, 9 pieces of Slayer set, because his kit has a lot of AoE effects. But I think that's between the options we got right now and the meta we are living right now, that's the hardest way of building him. It's probably the best damage-wise, but not the best effect-wise. So, how we are going to choose which stats we are seeking for this champion, I'm going to show you on how Hades Artifact Optimizer. So we are here on the How Hades Artifact Optimizer. Let's go to your champions. Let's choose Tormin. Let's go to Optimize. Here, we're going to choose Damage Mode. On presets, nothing. On configure, you're gonna drag this bar to 0. If you want to include artifacts unlocked champion, you're going to put it. If you don't want, you don't check this box. I'm not going to check it. The master is the one that we just made, so we're gonna keep it the way it is. On battle, on the target defense, we're going to set up 5k. On the target HP, we're going to set up 130k. On stats, here is the first difficulty that we're going to have. We need some speed for this champion have his turn. So, as I always say, I think 250 is the lowest amount of HP of speed that we need to use on a champion for it to be at least normal on the meta. We also need another thing on this champion. Since all his kit and all his role is to land the debuffs that he got, and if it's not a set debuff, it is a skill based debuff, we're gonna need accuracy on him. Since we're gonna need accuracy on him, we're going to set up the minimum amount of accuracy we're gonna need to 400. So try to put this number, 250 speed and 400 accuracy, as the minimum that you want if you are in the highest tiers of the arena Elus. If you are lower, you can drop that by a little, but never under 200 speed and never under 300 accuracy. Never. Slots. What do we want for these pieces here? Since he's a defense-based champion, on all top pieces, weapon, helmet, and shield, we want defense as essential. On the gloves here, we want critical damage or defense percentage as essential. On and as main stats of the gloves, critical damage. On chest, we want defense percentage or accuracy as ascension of the chest. And as a chest, we want accuracy or defense percentage as main status of the chest. On the boots, we want speed or defense percentage as the main stats, and we want speed or defense percentage as ascension. On the ring, we want defense ring on him, main stats, and we want defense percentage as ascension. On the amulet, we want critical damage as ascension, and we want critical damage as main stats. And on the banner, we want accuracy or defense percentage as ascension, and we want defense or accuracy as main stats. This is the setup. And on the options asset, we have all the options that I told you before. On this build, I'm going to set up 4 pieces of little to try, and 4 pieces of stone skin. To try the build here. On glyphs, what's important on this champion? The maximum amount of accuracy that you can, the maximum amount of speed that you can, and the maximum amount of defense and defense percentage that you can. If you want to put some resistance, not bad, because there might be polymorph blessings without being 6-star in champions that does not have accuracy. So as you land a lot of debuffs, a little bit of resistance is not bad. But as you're gonna seek so many stats already on the build, you cannot focus on that. This is just an extra. And HP and HP percentage is also something that you can put glyphs on if you want, because extra survivability is never bad. And he's a defense-based champion, so he's going to be a little bit tougher to kill than normal nukers. So let's optimize. Okay, we found the build here. We're going to go in game, equip in game. So here's the build that we found. And now let's save it. RTA by Cruisen. And Minimax. Every piece that we can. This one, good ascension. A red glyphed. This one, we're going to change the ascension to the defense. And we're going to set up a higher glyph on defense percentage. And a higher glyph on accuracy. On the shield, we're going to bring the right ascension. Come on. Use a good glyph on accuracy. 9. And a good glyph on defense percentage. I'm gonna take the 4. And some on speed. On the glove, we're gonna try to bring here critical damage or defense percentage. Defense percentage. Let's use a big one here. 14. 4 on speed and flat defense. 38. Okay. Let's try to bring accuracy or defense percentage on the chest here. Defense percentage. Let's put a big leaf on accuracy and some on speed. Perfect. On the boots, it's a red speed. We're just going to put some glyphs on the HP. And on the flat defense. On the amulet, we are going to bring it to the maximum here. Some glyphs on the resistance. On the HP. And on the flat defense. Okay, we're gonna equip. And this is our new Tormin. Let's see the total stats on him. We got 55k HP, 7.1k defense, 257 speed, 100% critical hit, 306 critical damage, and 450 accuracy. These are the relevant stats that we got on him. We're going to use the Death Bell on him because of the extra turn meat when put in freeze. And some extra accuracy also. I'm going to put speedy willpower on him. These are the total stats that we got on him after everything. Let's try him on the arena. First, the classicarena. The way that we are going to use this champion is very specific because we want to use him against teams that might be faster than us and put a lot of debuffs. So we have the chance of freezing our enemies, taking advantage of their buffs and speed over us. So let's try that here. They are faster. See? She tried to speed boost in front of us. She was fast. She froze herself because of the passive of the Tormin. And now we are able to cut him. And we are going to do our damage. We killed. And that's the mechanic of the Tormin. Take advantage of the speed boosting champions and cut through them or make them fail into doing their actions by being freezed. Before I do another fight, let me show you some champions that are really in the meta that you can freeze a lot. Marichka and Taras, when they are together, Marichka uses a lot the A1. And she has the A3. The A3 remove debuffs, but after removing the debuffs, it fills the turn meter. So she will remove the debuffs and fill the turn meter after. While doing that, because of the order of what she does, she can freeze your team. Because the turn meter goes after the removed debuff. So she can freeze your team. And she can also freeze the team while doing the A2. And when she revives, she can also freeze your team. And if she uses the A1 and Taras is on the same team, Taras A1 fills the turn limit of all allies by 5% for each critical damage. So it's twice when he hits the A1. So he may freeze your entire team by doing that. That are some meta champions that can be freezed when you're playing Tormin. There is also the possibility when Kaja speed boosts you to freeze your champions, because she fills the turn meter while removing the buffs. And only after that she put the block debuffs. So you can be freezed when these happen before she puts the block debuffs. You know, the order of the actions is really important when you're playing Tormin. Because if she put the block buffs, debuffs, before filling the turn meter, nothing would happen. What happens with Siphi? Siphi counters Tormin because the first thing she does is to put the block debuffs. So every other buff that she puts and the turn meter filled won't affect you. You have no chance of being freezed because you already got the block debuffs. So the order of the actions in the skills is really important when you play Tormin, because it might affect the result of freezing or not freezing. So on the Bannerlords, Kaja, Marichka and Taurus can freeze. On the High Elves, she's your favorite champion to face when going Tormin, because she buffs everybody and increases the turn limit of everybody. And they have a high chance of freezing twice. For the buff placement and for the turn limit filling, every champion has two chances of getting freezed. So Arbiter is an easy victim to him. Also, Galatir on the A2 that removes all the buff from ally, then heals them by 25%. He first removes the debuffs, then he fills the turn meter before putting the block buffs. As I said, the order of skills really matters. When you're facing Galatir and he uses the A2, he might freeze your team, because he cleanses first, then he fills the turn meter. At this action, you freeze the enemy team. Then he going to put block debuffs on the freezed champion. And he already cleansed it, so he's not going to cleanse again. So Galatir, using the A2, can freeze your entire team. And the turn meter filling of the A1 can also freeze the team. That's really important. Really, really important when doing it. Alas, on his A2, he puts the increase defense before doing the damage. So he can freeze before doing the damage. Armans, he steals the turn meter before landing the debuffs. So he can freeze while stealing the turn meter before landing the debuffs. That's really important. Lazarius, on the A3, he buffs and increases turn meter, so everybody can be freezed by that skill. And while he transforms into the second form, he auto buffs himself, increase attack and increase critical damage every beginning of his turn, so he can be freezed in each of his turn when facing a Tormin. And it goes that for many champions. Shuzan can freeze your entire team with these two skills. The A2 put a lot of buffs, and these buffs can freeze you. And the A3 put buffs and turn meter filling, so double the chance of freezing. The same goes for a boss. Another very used speed booster that fills the turn meter and buffs the entire team. That can freeze the enemy team completely. So these are meta champions that are used to fill the turn meter that you can easy counter with Tormin. That's a possibility. Let's try again to use Tormin here. We were faster this time. So at least try the damage. Look, he is built halfway into focusing into TC, but he still are able. Look, when Marichka revived, the champions froze because of the turn meter feeling. We're going to do A1 here. Extra damage on them because they are freezed. Everybody in Storm Skin. Let's try to remove some of them. Okay, we procced his passive. He wasn't able to kill us. As I told you, he tried to cleanse, then he first removed the debuffs, then he fused the turn meter. When he does that, she froze. Then he puts the block debuffs. Let's try to remove him. One down. Let me get my HP back here. Only A1. Revived. Tried to kill us. Wasn't able. Bring the Tormin. Oh, the counter attack. And now, let's do it. Let's kill her. He's freezed. Let me bring back my HP to the maximum. Let me try to kill him. Farming. Change its form. We beat extremely powerful team using Tormin and nuker. Speed up. A1. Dangerous. A2. A3. You see one here. Let me try to remove that. Rock solid. What a damage. And now we're gonna try to remove that. No. If we're not going to remove, we're going to try to break. He's going to have a turn soon. Can you have your turn, please? Okay, now we can try to kill you. The effect from the relic is the magma shield relic. Won't proc is passive. A1. Look. The A1 froze everybody. Just the A1 was enough to freeze everybody. Let's use the A3 now. Boom. Only survived the horse that was protected by the necrets. And it's done. This is the power of Tormin. And now, let's try him on the live arena. Their buys can be not. Look, we froze their boss and the Lazarus. They lost their turns. Oh my god. 3%. Seriously. Tormin. You won't play. This is Tormin, baby. Feel the blizzard.
Ice Age.
Okay. We went first. Let's accelerate. Let's accelerate again. Let's take the turn. Oh, sorry. Let's take.
Ice Age.
He's faster than us. He buffed. He frees everybody. Tormin. Tormin effect. Do this. He won the battle solo. Everybody on Storm Skin. Let's try to remove some. We are able to remove some. So, let's go on him. We procced. Oh, that's gonna hurt. He might freeze. Look, he froze. Before playing. I will do this. And this. Extra turn. And this. Tormin. He was afraid of Tormin. Okay, we will. Let me try to remove that. AoE. GG. So guys, that's how you play Tormin the Code. He's a very old champion, but still very strong. He's a situational pick. I don't think he should be your main nuker unless you have no other option. But when he's picked, he is a troublesome champion to deal with if you don't have the right setup to face him. So pick him in the right moment, confuse your opponent on how he's going to deal with him, and use him as a weapon to freeze and take the hope away of your opponents. If you like this kind of content, do not forget to and as always, remember, it's all about arena.